Just off the southern shores of Malaysia, one of Asia's largest real estate projects is taking form. Known as Forest City, the development is a dense enclave of premium residences, offices, and amenities. Breaking ground in 2014, Forest City is intended to house more than 700,000 residents when completed in 2040. The project is held up as a model of green development and harmonious living. Key to the scale and integration of Forest City is that it is planned atop man-made islands more than 1/4 the size of Manhattan. Building new real estate on new infill gives the builders vast control over land pricing, project design, and the pace of construction. But a strict focus on control has also caused project proponents to overlook serious social and environmental impacts of large-scale infill. By failing to assess and mitigate these impacts, Forest City has harmed local industry, ecosystem functions, and ultimately the economic value of the project itself. Forest City has attracted investors because it is close to Singapore. Under rapid growth after World War II, Singapore's land was completely utilized, creating expansionary pressures into Johor, the Malaysian state to the north. In 1998, a second highway link between Singapore and Johor created a spillway for land development. Throughout western Johor, inland plantations were transformed into housing subdivisions and industrial estates. Forest City is a project of Country Garden, one of the largest private developers in China. Country Garden made its name in the Pearl River Delta, the region of mainland China around Hong Kong. Under China's economic reforms, the Delta became the largest real estate market in history. Global capital from Hong Kong met cheap land and labor in China, engulfing the villages and marshlands with factories and roads. In the 1990s, Country Garden grew by creating residential housing estates for newly wealthy families. By 2010, as the domestic property market cooled down, Country Garden saw a new Pearl River Delta in Johor. Cheap, abundant land across a narrow channel from a global financial hub. In 2013, Country Garden ventured into Malaysia, breaking ground on a residential enclave close to Singapore. Although the development was far more dense than the surrounding city, almost 10,000 units sold in just a few weeks. Country Garden sensed an appetite for a bigger, riskier investment, this time in the still rural west of Johor. With ample waterfront, a link to Singapore, and few prior investments, Johor's western coast appeared perfect for a major development like Forest City. But several conditions made such a project difficult. First, a necklace of coastal fishing villages comprised hundreds of small land claims. Compared to China, Malaysia's land laws are more protective of private land ownership, making land assembly more costly and difficult. For this reason, most large development projects in Malaysia are built on commercial palm plantations, where no consolidation is necessary. Second, the region contains some of the largest intact ecosystems in Southeast Asia, including the largest mangrove forest in peninsular Malaysia. Mangroves are vital to coastal life because they filter water and retain soil. When they are cleared, the shore loses its resilience to erosion, and the water loses the clarity that marine plants and animals need. Federal laws and international agreements protect mangroves, but they are often cleared for aquaculture and waterfront real estate. By Malaysian law, any project that removes coastal mangroves triggers a mandatory environmental impact assessment. Just beyond the mangroves are seagrass meadows, which grow in shallow tides. Most wild-caught fish species spend part of their lives in seagrass, and species like seahorses and dugongs spend their whole lives there. Disturbing these meadows endangers marine life and the fishing economy of the Johor Straits. Because of the small land claims and high ecological value of seagrass and mangroves, the Regional Development Authority had moved to protect the shoreline from commercial development. Facing complex local needs, Country Garden sought an unconventional approach to work around them. The company believed land reclamation would avoid social conflicts, environmental damage, and legal challenges. Filling in the straits was a development opportunity no one else saw. The shallow waters, which were being used for fishing grounds and shipping lane, were controlled by the state of Johor. The Sultan of Johor, who controls the state's public property, allowed Country Garden to alienate the fishing grounds in exchange for 30% of the project value. Because it didn't purchase land, Country Garden had no need to notify environmental regulators or local residents. Instead, Planning was completed quietly from abroad, leaving village residents, local officials, and federal authorities completely in the dark. Like any developer looking for big foreign investments, Country Garden sought to build the largest possible project in the most valuable location available. But their strategy meant evading public consultation and environmental review. Without these processes, government planners could not explain the reasons for ecological protection, and fishermen could not explain the value of the seagrass. Far away from the site itself, Country Garden could not see that their work to avoid land conflicts actually produced other resource conflicts. One morning, when the fishing boats went out to draw in their nets, they discovered a new island in the middle of their fishing grounds.